Today we're going to be doing a squishy makeover. We are going to be taking this Rilakumas, I guess knockoffs, and turning them into something Disney. Let's get started. So this is going to be a light orange bear. Go ahead and guess the squishy. And once you guess the squishy, we're going to start painting. So this is a little bit light. I did like a light orange because it's kind of like yellow, but like orangey. And I actually end up darkening it a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. So I'm going to cover it completely. If you notice, I also cut off all the little X's from, the little charm ring and the edges. And then I darkened it too much. And so I added a little bit of yellow on top. And that gave me a pretty good color. So I was pretty satisfied with that. So with a permanent marker, I went ahead and did 2 circles for the eyes. Just a dot. And this whole time I'm thinking that this is black, and then once I look at it in the camera, I realized that it's navy blue. So yeah. So after I do the 2 circles in the eyes, I usually have trouble measuring them out, but they're pretty even this time. I do like a little line, like an open arc, and for the little wrinkle in the nose. If you guys guessed that this is Winnie the Pooh, you're right. But he's kind of like in Zoom Zoom form. So, and then I just do a little triangle for the nose with the rounded edges. And he's looking pretty good. So next, I'm going to move on to do his little eyebrows. And, they're just 2 little arc. I feel like everything's like a little arc or like a little, bent line, or I don't know. But I find that all these kind of look alike. So I do that, and look, this is the realization. I'm like, no. So I'm gonna have to go back to fix this, but this is a good starting point. I just want to get his face on, and I've been struggling a lot with the paintbrushes lately. So I thought the permanent marker was a nice little break from the dotting tools and the paintbrushes, but I end up going back to them anyway in this video. So once I'm happy with the face, I move on to go over it with a thin black Sharpie. And the thin black Sharpie was not working. It didn't do anything. Like, I could not tell if it was painting or if it even made a difference. So after trying for a little bit, I decided to go back to my dotting tool and use some paint and just use my dotting tool to go over all the details. I also decided not to do, like the little like holes in the ears. I think that Zoom Zoom Winnie the Pooh doesn't have them. I googled it, and I didn't find any of them that had it. So I thought that was just like extra, and I wanted him to look his Zoom Zoom way. So here I used the dotting tool, and then I went back to whatever I didn't like and fixed it. For this specific one, it's going to be white and black and this shape. So if you're guessing Baymax, you're right. Oh my gosh, Big Hero 6 is like, he's like my love. He's so cute. He's like a gentle giant, and he's just so good. And I know he's like a robot and he's programmed that way, but like you can tell that he has feelings, guys. He really does. So I like the shape of this squishy. I like that it's also squishy. It's not like completely spongy. So not really slow rise, but yeah. I also cleaned the edges of this one. I cleaned out the edges and the little hoop for the charms in all of them. And this is only 1 coat, so I decide that I can kind of still see it in the light, the little Rilakkuma face in the background. So I'm going to do another layer of this. And after I put on some, I'm like, no, you know what? Let me do a really thick layer. And I just like pile it on for the second coat. So I mean, technically I guess this would count like 3 coats, but so I'm just gonna smother it with white, and once that dry, I'm going to be ready for the face. Now, Baymax face is like the best thing to draw on anything, because even if you're clumsy like me, or if you're not an artist also like me, it's just shapes. And once you recognize those shapes, it's gonna be really easy for you to draw a lot of these characters. Okay, so here I have some black paint, and I use my dotting tool, and I go boop, one circle, boop, another circle, and I love it. And I'm like, no, I gotta go bigger every time. So I do two like chibi big eyeballs, and then just a straight line down the middle, so that, well, not that straight, but I tried. So and then I go back and I fix all the little edges, and I actually thin the line a little bit to straighten it out with a little bit of white paint. So for the last squishy, this is actually tricky because instead of brown, it's supposed to be black, but I like the chocolate drizzle, so guess the squishy. And if by the colors you guess Mickey Mouse, you're right. These were pretty simple. I feel like you guys could really guess all of these, because sometimes in Guess the Squishy, they're like really hard. Sometimes I look back at them, I'm like, I would have never guessed what that was gonna be, but so this little Rilakkuma bread, it's just, one of those really not good faces that kind of just rips off once you play with them a lot. So see, look at me showing off that I cleaned out all the edges. So for the bottom, I'm going to use this bright red, because that's Mickey wears these shorts like that are bright red. And this is kind of like, if you've ever gone to Disney, or if you've ever seen any Disney candy or Disney candy apples, like they make like that chocolate drizzle on top, and then they like do the shorts like in the bottom or whatever. So this is kind of like what it reminded me of. It kind of like a chocolatey candy apple inspired. You know what I'm trying to get to. Okay, so on top, instead of actually drawing out Mickey, I'm gonna do like this little chocolate drizzle instead of like this blueberry. I don't know what it was supposed to be, but I'm pretty sure it was a bread. So, and yeah, I put on a lot. I realized this, and I'm like, well, okay, not that I made a mistake, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with all this paint. So the layers are pretty thick on actually, and the color covered perfect, because sometimes colors underneath seem to come through, but it didn't. I ended up doing 2 coats anyway, just because the paint that you see on right now, it's pretty much what I used for the whole chocolate drizzle front and back. So I went back with another coat to seal up. You see in the light, you see some like streaks, and I'm gonna get rid of that a little bit by doing another coat. And once that's dry, I'm going to get yellow. I know, I don't know why I use yellow so much, because I suck at it. Like, yellow gives me such a hard time. I can't get it on. I can't take it off. It's just an awful, awful color for me. But I love it. I love using it. I don't even really like yellow, but it's like everything just looks brighter with yellow on. So anyway, I use it, and I just do 2 little ovals. They kind of look like little jelly beans. Like if this was a candy apple, that's what I would have used, like a jelly bean. And so there that goes, 2 little droplets. And I'm gonna put that to dry. And there they are, you guys. And then I realized I didn't paint the bottom, but I'll go back for it. And there's little Winnie the Pooh and Baymax. They come out so cute. I feel like I say this every time. Let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite, and if you want to see more videos like this one. Thanks for watching.